right? We seems to have some, sizable number in the house. Since he's on recording, people are joining right now and they will still continue to join. We barely have 25 minutes to go. It's max 30 minutes. So I'm passing this over to you, Francis. You are hosting today, so please direct the flow.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Yeah, fine. So, for by way of recap, for those that are not aware, been doing 10 days of Fabric Challenge, and we are already on day 6. So, where we have been reading the modules in Fabric, and today the title of our head is actually to ingest data with Dataflows Gen2 in Microsoft Fabric. So, if you actually want to still join the challenge, you can join. It's a 30-day challenge, but you can do it over and over again. All you have to do is make sure that you finish reading the module within these 30 days. So that is how we have been doing the challenge. And every day we converge here on Twitter space to actually take question and answers for people that have one clarification on what they are read in the particular module for today. So we're already on day 6, which is to ingest a data flow with Dataflows Gen2 in Microsoft Fabric. And at the end of the 10 days challenge, we are going to have a end-to-end demo session of the things that you can actually do with Microsoft Fabric. So as a consideration from what we have been doing now, we are talking about data flow. So I want to take the data flow Gen2 from the perspective of Power BI users. As I was asked yesterday, someone was asking if there was a difference. I think that was yesterday. Someone asked what is the difference between data flow and data flow Gen2, right?
Yes, that was yesterday.
Uh, so data flow has always been an asset within Power BI, but data flow Gen2 is actually a new asset which is part of Microsoft Fabric, which is actually a data flow that is actually powered by ADLS. ADLS is Azure Data Lake Storage. So data flow in this context within the Microsoft Fabric is actually more of data engineering assets. So, like he said, when you want to start any data project, you need to actually extract your data from wherever source they are sitting on, which is the beginning of your ETL process or EMT, whatever the case may be. So, one of the most powerful ETL tool that you have out there is actually Power Query Online. So, Power Query Online has actually been integrated into your data flow such that you have the ease with which you can actually do your data cleaning and transformation even within Microsoft Fabric. So this data flow is actually a sort of data source on top of data source. So you can use this as an ETL to connect to your data source. Just like when you go to Power Query, you see the various sources that you can connect to your flat files, your databases, your Azure storages, and then your services that you can connect. So you have the same interface right there online, and then you can actually combine it also with pipelines to actually move your data from wherever they are sitting to a destination. Your destination could be a lakehouse, could be even Azure SQL databases. So you can combine it with your pipeline to clean your data. So and once you have your data clean, then you can actually move it. Movements can be directly into your lakehouse if there is no further transformation that we are doing that is outside of Power Query Online. But if you want to do further transformation, say you want to define a Spark transformation, then you can actually create this data flow as a data flow activity in combination with, let's say, a copy activity. Say, okay, you are connecting to an SQL data source that you had created a data flow for, and then maybe you are also connecting to AWS and Amazon Redshift. Then you are doing a copy activity. And then you are setting up a pipeline such that you want to make sure that it is when the copy activity from your Redshift is complete that it can then move to your data flow activity. So you configure that on your data factory experience of Fabric, where you actually give them the right order the transformation is going to happen. Say you have your data sets actually existing in Lakehouse, or you can even add a delete activity because maybe those data sets are actually out of date. So in that kind of pipeline, you already have about 3 activities. You have your delete activity, you have your copy activity, and you have your data flow activity. Then your data flow activity can come in any order. It could be before your copy activity, even before your data activity. So you can actually utilize the power of Dataflow that is actually powered by Azure Data Lake Storage, and then combine it with Data Factory and use that with other transformation. It's going to be your Spark transformation. Now, Spark transformation is actually based on Apache Spark, which is an open source parallel processing, and Spark is actually using a divide and conquer method. Say you want to do a task, and then we divide it among 4 people. Then it's going to achieve it faster. And most times it's used by data engineer for processing large scale of data sets. So you can do your transformation while your Power Query might be dragging, but you have done some part of transformation for some part of your data sets with data flow that you had already created in the Power Query online. You can actually move some of the transformation to your Spark, and then you have a Spark activity, you have a data flow activity, and then you can then use it to ingest it, to ingest data set into your destination, could be your lakehouse, could be your SQL storage, even be your data warehousing. Data warehousing is one of the experiences that you have in Fabric. So you can actually ingest your data set into either a lakehouse, into a data warehouse, or any SQL or relational database management system that you want to have your data set. So essentially, it's bringing you the no-code interface of Power Query as against having to do your data cleaning and transformation with codes that you are not seeing your data. I think that's one of the things that people have against having to do that transformation and data cleaning with codes. Because I'm writing code, but I'm dropping this particular column. Yes, you know you are dropping the column, but you are just having an imagination until you do like a DL or something before you can actually see the transformation that you have done. But with Power Query, even at data flow level, you can do your transformation. Even after you actually ingest your data into your lakehouse or wherever storage we are working with, you can still do your transformation at this level. So I think that's just the basic summary of ingesting data into Microsoft Fabric using Dataflow Gen2. So Dataflow Gen2 is the new one. Dataflow has actually been existing in Power BI before Fabric. And another interesting thing that I should mention at this point is the fact that data flows are actually reusable. How do I mean? Say you are working in a big organization that have several departments, but there are some data sets in the organization that could be used across departments. So if the department is working for your data set the first time, they have done their transformation, and then the data set is in the right form that is usable. Then the next department that are working with that data set do not have to start doing their data cleaning and transformation from scratch again. They can just connect to that data flow and then reuse it. So oftentimes, when several departments have used the data set and is actually meeting their business requirement, then that data set can actually be promoted. Data flow can actually be promoted as a certified data set within your organization because it's actually useful for multiple departments. So the idea of data flow is your transformation and have a reusable asset. And of course, that will save time because the first department that had done the work on data set had actually cleaned and transformed it. Maybe the next department will have to go through that very bogus process of doing the transformation and data cleaning. So I think I'll just stop and hand over to Faith so that she can actually moderate the question and answer session, and then we can pick it up tomorrow for our next year module. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Ola, you want to say something?
Yes, quickly, just want to sort of add or summarize what Francis has said in 30 or 45 seconds while we take questions. If you attended today's event, you see how really exciting it was. Because some of these things that Francis showcased clarifies or help us to connect and understand it. I know of this thing, but now that it's possible within this environment, wow. So it was a wow moment. And today is ingesting data with Dataflows Gen2 in Microsoft Fabric. This is it. Before you can do anything in Fabric, you must have data. And because Fabric is not made for the regular way we use Power BI, for example, as a data analyst, where you just go ahead and connect to data on your CSV file on your system, or data, that you stored on the database or things like that. Fabric is optimized as a data platform itself. So you must get the data wherever they are coming from first into your OneLake, by creating lake houses. And you use Dataflow Gen2 as the UI UX, the low-code version of data injection. So when you want to now bring this data into your lakehouse, Dataflow Gen2 will help you to create that low-code end. It's low-code because you can easily use it just the way you are using Power Query, and use it to ingest that data and transform. It's not just data injection, it performs ETL. Just the same you'll be hearing about ETL, extract, transform, and load, and much more than that, because the resulting data can be written back into a data source. That is where Dataflow Gen2 becomes an ETL tool. Before, in our Power BI, when you go to Power BI query, you can do transformation. That process basically is extract and transform. And you load. You load this time around into Power BI data set. Whenever you load the data, direct query or import method mode in Power BI desktop, and you load it onto your system, it is saved as a Power BI data set. And when you publish your report, that data set is available in the cloud now in Power BI service as a Power BI data set. But that is not the kind of silo data set that you want to be publishing and be pushing out there. You want a central place, which is the lakehouse, and the ETL now enable you to save that data, to store it in a structured table in lakehouse that someone else can continue to use. And I just thought of adding that and using that to summarize it. UI UX is easy to use, very similar to what you used before. That's why some people say Dataflow Gen2 is Data Factory, or even though it is not, because the Data Factory creating copy pipeline and creating those core activities, creating copy activities, similar to what you are doing with Dataflow Gen2, just that this one is UI UX. Create that ETL pipeline for yourself and ingest it to the destination. So okay, I'm going to pass this now to.
Okay, thank you so much, Ola, for that. And I think I'm so much interested because I've not exactly had to go over today's module. I'll do that tonight before bed. I had a very busy day, so maybe I'll from what you've said, you and Francis, I think I'm gathered so many insights, so I'm excited to go onto it already. So guys, if you have questions, please request, and then I think Francis will approve that so you can speak, or you can just use the comment section to ask your questions. And before we go into questions, please could you react if you went through today's module? Doesn't mean that a lot of us here did not go through today's module. Okay, Damilola, thank you. Okay, even though you didn't go through today's module, if you attended the physical event, the Microsoft Fabric Saturday, you could also react. Babatunde, thank you. Do you have any contributions? If you don't have questions, you can just come off mute and, contribute to whatever it is around Fabric or today's module. It's like we don't have any questions, or do we understand everything? Or we've not really gone through it? Okay. Francis and Ola, what do you think? Nobody's asking questions. Do you think we should continue the way on?
Everybody knows Fabric already, so maybe that's why they are asking questions.
And another thing I'm also...
We have audience that are not actually participating from day one, so it actually might be difficult what we are talking about. So if you are a new participant of the challenge, what we are talking about is Microsoft Fabric, which is a new product by Microsoft, which is a data platform of the AI era. So it's actually a combination of the existing products, which include Power BI and the Synapse Analytics. So on this singular platform now, which is actually a SaaS, that is a software as a service, you can actually work on it, be it you are a data engineer, you are a data scientist, or you are a data analyst. So every data role can actually work on it. Or even your business, they can actually collaborate on this new platform now to actually deliver on their data projects. So we have been running 10 days challenge now, of which we have about 9 modules, and then we are going to have a demo day session at the end of the 10 days, middle of the 6th. So if you're actually interested, I think Faith is going to drop the link to the modules so that you can join us and catch up, because every module has a lab session that you can actually work on. I think
Okay.
that's just a brief recap and summary for those that have not been following the challenge. And it's actually a 30 days challenge, even though it's 10 days. So just that you can do it multiple times within the 30 days frame. So this is the first 10 days. So the second 10 days is going to start immediately after the first 10 days. So, but it's always good that you are following and learning in group. So that will help your understanding. And then some questions that will be asked is going to actually open up your understanding of certain concepts. In the absence of question, I think for me,
Yeah.
we can actually bring it to an end. Unless you have questions, you can come up mute, ask your questions, or if you are mic shy, you can drop a chat. Then Faith can pick that up, and then we can then answer your question. So in the absence of that, we actually continue tomorrow, day 7, and then we converge again to take questions concerning the module that we are going through. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Francis. So, Goldie said she does not know anything about Fabric. I hope Goldie you listened, because Francis just introduced what it is, and also if you check the jumbotron on this space, Ola already linked all the resources that you will need. That also includes the link to the module, so you don't have to beat yourself up if you've not been following up. Like Francis said, it's for 30 days. You can start all over again, and feel free to ask your questions under any of the Twitter spaces linked here, and then any of the hosts will just come up and answer your questions. I think we have a new comment here. Okay, Amarashi said that she did not go through today's module, but she's understanding the modules and they're amazing. Okay. So the best part for me in the modules is the fact that there are labs that you can always practice with. Okay, please drop the link to access the module. I'm doing that right now. So if you check this tweet, you see that I've linked it under. And Divine is saying that she's stuck. Divine, do you want to come off mute and say, I think we have like 8 minutes. Do you want to talk about where you're stuck? Hello, Divine. Can you hear me? So you can either use the comment section or you just come off mute and ask your question here. Okay, I guess Divine is not coming up to ask. But anyways, like I said, you can always drop your questions under any of the spaces, the recording of the spaces, and you can tag any of the hosts and we'll be happy to help out. So since we do not have questions, I'll just quickly reply Goldie by sending the link. But you can also check the Jumbotron. The resources are there. But since it's something that I can easily type, I'll just, do that here. And I think that will be all. So Francis, I think we are done. We don't have further questions.
Yeah, we can actually bring it to a close, and then tomorrow we'll pick it up again, and then we'll be on seat to take questions from the next module. So if you have been following, you realize that it's actually a story from introduction to your lake houses where you store your data. That was day 2. Then on day 3, we talk about Apache Spark, which is for processing large data, and that is the technology in which your lake house is based and the formats in which the data is being stored in your lake house. Then on day 4, we talked about working with data tables, which is a format that is the data format in your lake houses. And then day 5, we talked about pipelines. And today is day 6. Now we are talking about data flow. So all we have been talking about is just the introduction and more of data engineering side. So by tomorrow, which is day 7, day 8, and day 9, then we'll move to the data science part of things, and then we complete the story that we started from day 1. And then it'll just make sense when we do a live section where we are going to demo all of these things to every one of us. So at this point, I think we can call it a good night.
I don't know if Ola has anything to say because I think he wanted to say something at one time.
No, actually, it's to call it a good night. It's not a must. Yeah, there are questions every day. I just want to mention that see this space as that community where you can ask questions. And so the only thing I don't want to regret is people are not utilizing it enough. And this is the time that everyone is gathering, to answer your questions. In the next couple of days, after day 10, we hope to turn in a new phase. Another 10 days, that is going to be lighter, but it's on project. The best way to truly use this is by working on projects. So we're going to be, in the next 10 days, we'll create 2 end-to-end projects. And we're going to put it out as a challenge. You also need to document it. If you can work on that end-to-end, and document it, you are truly consolidating your knowledge. So if you've not been going through this, I will encourage you to make sure you go through the learning modules, because the next phase of learning is to apply. So we're going to be moving to that phase where you apply. And now is the time, you could just have that kind of community, learning together and asking questions. So awesome job, team. And thank you all for always learning and joining and also listening to those spaces, that we are holding. All of them are documented. We click on that link before it's there. Now I'm going to add the 5 and 6 now. So we'd like on 2 days, but I'm going to add them, and you can always have that single resource you can share with people, and they'll continue to learn about Fabric. So thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Ola. Thank you, everyone, and have a restful night. All right, friends. Bye.
Night.